place at the airfield where you are right now.
We are beginning with some breaking news. What you just heard was an announcement over the loudspeaker at Mountain Home Air Force Base after a crash during the Gunfighters Air Show. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hunter Funk. Now, details are limited at this point, but here is what we know so far. A spokesperson for Naval Air Force U.S. Pacific Fleet says it happened at about 12:10 this afternoon during an aerial demonstration of two Navy jets identified as EA-18G Growlers. The 4 crew members safely evacuated their aircraft and are being evaluated by medical personnel. We are hearing that they are stable. The Mountain Home Police Department alerted the public that the event was officially canceled for the rest of the day. That incident is now being investigated. A viewer at the event shared this photo with us. It shows the moment 2 jets crashed into each other and about 4 parachutes deployed. KTVB reached out to the Public Affairs Office at the Mountain Home Air Force Base. We were told they're working to provide more details about what and why it happened. Several other viewers shared these photos with us. Well, we are turning now to KTVB's Christian Lopez. She's joining us live near the Mountain Home Air Force Base. Christian, what do you know so far?
Well, we're about 2 miles away from where the crash happened. This is the closest that we can get. The crash happened to my left. The Air Force Base is to my right. And officials say that this also sparked a fire. And we can see that burnt vegetation behind us. It was about 25 acres. I also spoke with 2 witnesses, 2 women who were at the event. One was over the phone and one was via Zoom. And they said that witnessing this was a total shock.
Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a big flash, and I look over, and immediately I see the 4 parachutes. I saw the planes like fly over, and then they were just out of sight. Once I saw the black smoke, I knew that there was something was wrong. Once everybody, I think when the boom happened, I looked, and everybody's heads were turned. Some people started running towards the black smoke and what was going on in that general direction. Couple dozen people started running in that direction, but there's a lot of people here. So
can you describe what you saw when you realized something was wrong?
Yeah, I watched them collide and saw the parachutes go out. Nobody really knew what to do. There was a lot of people freaking out, and so that was also a little bit scary.
What was your reaction to seeing that? Like, it probably didn't even feel real, right?
Yeah, it was like, I was like, oh my goodness, is this like actually happening? Because even though I saw them hit and saw the parachutes, I was like, is this like actually what's happening?
it took probably a good 20 minutes before they announced that all 4 pilots were accounted for and safe.
I'm happy that they're all okay.
Yeah, thankfully, all of the crew members got out safely. We've also learned that lockdown has been lifted and people were able to leave the area. And of course, this crash is still under investigation.
Yeah, Christian, okay, when we were seeing a lot of these images from viewers, you know, it was a really heavy, dark smoke that's usually concerning, especially with a little bit of wind that we're experiencing. We also have that dryness. So did it seem pretty quick for them to get it out? Is it fully extinguished at this point? What's the latest on the fire as well?
Yeah, you can clearly see that it's really windy out here, but luckily the officials who were on the scene said that they were able to get the fire out pretty quickly. You can kind of see that burnt vegetation behind us. It was only 25 acres, so they were able to get it out quickly despite these conditions that we're seeing.
Yeah, tough situation. A lot of people attending that event today. Christian, thanks for being out there. We will see you again here shortly. All right, well, this crash marks the 3rd time an incident has happened at an Idaho air show in the past 23 years. If you remember, back in 2003, the show was held in mid-September and an Air Force Thunderbird went down. Now, officials said the pilot ejected safely and was treated by military staff. That video, which we will show you later on the news at 5 and 10, very extreme. The U.S. military reported no other injuries, thankfully, in that situation. But again, a big fireball came from that one as well. Well, then in 2018, there was a glider pilot who died during a routine performance. KTVB previously reported that Colonel Joseph Kunkel, commander of the 366th Fighter Wing, said that pilot, Dan Buchanan, was doing an act that he had performed countless times. Well, you can see smoke from that jet crash billowing up and those strong winds today. Now, we have Christian, and she just mentioned that fire has now been contained. We have that confirmed. Thankfully, with those dry conditions, it was able to be put out pretty fast. We will continue to bring you all of the latest information, both on air and KTVB.com. Again, this is an ongoing situation. We're going to have to talk about this a lot more as to why it happened. There was a lot of questions about wind, but we can't assume that that happened. We need to hear more from investigators about the crash. Now, you can also download our mobile app for the latest details. And again, coming up at 5, we're going to have more in-depth coverage of what happened over at the Mountain Home Air Force Base during the Gunfighters Show. Again, stay tuned, stay with us. We're going to have a lot more updates to come.